Greetings, everyone, from Ken Broon Field here at Crystal Lake South High School in Crystal Lake. I'm Northwest Herald Sports Editor Eric Olson here with McHenryCountySports.com's Lester Johnson, and we are getting ready for what should be the biggest and possibly the best Fox Valley Conference Valley Division game of the season. Undefeated Crystal Lake South at 5-0, ranked number 4 in Class 7A in the Associated Press poll, is hosting Prairie Ridge. Also a 5-0 squad, ranked tied atop the rankings in Class 6A in the Associated Press poll. Les, I think this is going to be a real test for both of these teams, the biggest they've faced all season, pretty safe to say.
Yeah, I think with the two defenses that are going to be on the field tonight, I don't think there's any other way you can put it than to say that, not only is these the best teams each other has faced all year, it might be the best teams they still face all year. Who knows? But except for the playoffs, obviously, if they each get into a nice long run. But, these are two teams that they know how important this game is from a momentum standpoint in the division. The Valley is obviously Jacobs will have something to say about it. They're also 5-0 overall. And there's a lot of big games in the next 2-3 weeks, and this one should be one of the biggest. And the atmosphere is unbelievable. The stands are absolutely packed. There's people standing around the stadium in both ends of the stadium, and it's just the atmosphere that you really look forward to out here.
You mentioned playoffs, Lester. The last time these two teams met was in the IHSA Class 6A playoffs. It was a quarterfinal match here at Ken Broon Field. It was a wet, sloppy day, and Prairie Ridge just ran away with the football game. They beat South 37-10 that day, ending the undefeated season for the Gators. And tonight, I was down on the field before this game started. I heard Coach Osmond. He was telling his team, tonight's your night. This is your homecoming. Get out there and show them what you can do. But I think there's definitely a little bit of a sense of not inferiority, but an underdog kind of complex that the Gators have here. I think a lot of people are expecting that Prairie Ridge, with the superior numbers that they put up statistically this season, is the favorite in this game.
Yeah, well, one thing about that is I think it's obvious that Prairie Ridge has not played the same caliber of teams that South has played so far this year. South has definitely had the stronger strength of schedule, so I think that helps to explain why Prairie Ridge's numbers have been so high. But it is very, very strange that a team as good as South, with some big wins this year already, would be an underdog. It does seem kind of strange, but the general consensus is a lot of people are favoring Prairie Ridge, but, to say that South is just as much, just as capable of winning this game as anybody else is an understatement.
Oh, absolutely. They've got a great defensive line. Of course, we're not going to see them first off because the Gators are going to receive the opening kick here from Prairie Ridge. Looks like we've got number 5, Nick Margiata, on the field to kick for Prairie Ridge here. The Wolves wearing their road white jerseys with the maroon pants. The Gators in their home green pants, green jerseys with the gold letters and numbers.
Somebody that fans of the webcast are used to seeing back there, Brad Walovich.
Absolutely. And here we go, folks. It's taken by Brian Kasmer. Kasmer not going to get far with the football. Doesn't make it back to the 20-yard line before he's swallowed up by the Prairie Ridge coverage team. And that's where Crystal Lake South's offense will take over to start this football game. We've got a lot of sponsors tonight, folks. A lot of people want to be part of this game. I want to start with Mayfair. It's National Kerostan Month beginning October 1st, and Mayfair is offering the lowest prices of the season. Get up to $1,000 cash back when you come to Mayfair on Main Street in Crystal Lake for all your carpet and furniture needs. All right, now we've got Austin Fowler under center for the Gators. The give is to number 1, and he is taken down quickly. That's Zevin Clark, the Gators' leading rusher, stopped for no gain by this tough Prairie Ridge defense, Lester.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed on both of these defenses, and Prairie Ridge really can get to the outside well.
They have not allowed but one offensive touch, or what is it, 2 offensive touchdowns all season?
One offensive touchdown all season and no offensive touchdowns since week 1.
That's right. That was against Glenbard South. Now, of course, the leader of this defense looks like number 56 linebacker Brad Sims. He's there on the far side. Fowler under center. Throws the screen out to Walovich. He's looking for some room. He gets past the first man. He's going to get up past the first down marker before he's brought down out of bounds at the 35 of Crystal Lake South after a gain of about 15 yards on that play. Unless if Crystal Lake South's offense is going to be successful, they've got to put the ball in the hands of Brad Walovich.
Absolutely. He's their playmaker. He's the guy that can change the game in probably 6-8 seconds, and he can find the end zone. He's that fast. So it is going to be imperative for the Wolves to have their eye on him all night.
Okay, Fowler back under center. Got Clark. Gives to Clark, off tackle. Looking for some running room. He's going to bull forward for a few yards. Still being pushed forward by his blockers. No whistle yet.
Somebody's going to get hurt out there. There should be a whistle.
Probably should have been one about a second or two ago.
Yeah, that.
Give Clark a gain of about 2 yards on that play. I'll make it 3 yards. Want to also thank our sponsor, 1776. 1776 Restaurant on Route 14 is Crystal Lake's original health food restaurant for 21 years. Give them a try. All right, here we go. Fowler under center. He's looking to pass. He's got Walovich open. Completed inbounds into Prairie Ridge territory. And about the 48-yard line of Prairie Ridge for another Crystal Lake South first down. And so far, that's been the potent combination, Lester. Fowler to Walovich.
Yes, he's the guy. I mean, he's the guy that you have to be aware of, that's for sure. And it seems like like we've seen every other time we've covered them, they have, set out to get him the ball.
And this might be a little bit different attack so far in the early going than Prairie Ridge has seen all season. Fowler under center. That's Carl McCulloch in the lone setback. Give this to McCulloch, running right. Hit immediately and brought down by number 43, Corey Peterson, and number 44, Colin Corcoran of Prairie Ridge. No gain on the play for the Gators. Bring up 2nd and 10 with 10 minutes and counting to play in this first quarter.
It has been our privilege to provide quality banners, signs, and art supplies to the community for over 2 decades. Repo Graphics on Virginia Road in Crystal Lake. Go check them out, folks.
All right, now. Fowler calling the play. 2nd and 10. Crystal Lake South. No score early on in this football game. The 48-yard line of Prairie Ridge. He fakes the handoff. He's looking for a man. He's looking for Walovich down the field. And he's picked off. Picked off by number 25. That's Jordan Getzelman. I'm sorry, no, that's not Getzelman. That's number
20, I think.
Number 20, that's Corey Barcroft. I think Barcroft got away with a bit of a push-off there, Les.
It did look like he made contact, which you're really not supposed to do at all that far down the field.
Well, he definitely made some contact. He kind of pushed Walovich aside, but doesn't draw the flag. Instead gets the pick, so an excellent defensive play right there by Corey Barcroft. And now the Wolves will take over on their own 20-yard line. Nick Nissen, he's hit and stripped, but he recovers the fumble. That was number 47. That's Colton Nero, the defensive lineman, one of the big 3 D linemen on this Crystal Lake South defense. Getting in there and making the first tackle for a loss. A big one, too, Les. A little more than 5 yards on that play.
Yeah, 6 yards, I'd say.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 16 on their own 14-yard line for Prairie Ridge. Nick Nissen under center for the Wolves. Nissen gives to, I believe that was Getzelman.
I think that was Greenwald.
Greenwald, I'm sorry, yes.
22 is the ball carrier, Connor Greenwald.
Greenwald runs for a short gain on the play, and now we got 3rd down and 15.
One thing to be aware of with Neeson is he can run too. He's got quite a few rushing yards as well as passing yards.
Greenwald and Getzelman in the backfield. Nissen is running the option. He's going to keep it himself, cut it upfield. He's still on his feet. Going to get up past the original line of scrimmage, but not much more before he's brought down. That'll bring up 4th and long for Prairie Ridge here. 8 minutes to play and counting here in this first quarter. Want to say thanks to Extreme Wheels. The newly renovated Extreme Wheels on Virginia Road in Crystal Lake wants to see you. They're now open for awesome birthday parties and family fun. Stop in for your free family pass today through October 7th at Extreme Wheels. All right, now Nick Margiata on to punt for the Wolves. Walovich back. Along with Brian Kasmer, they're going to let it bounce. It's going to be down inside the 40 at about the 37-yard line.
Well, not
Crystal Lake South.
Not a real big surprise that in each team's first series, the defenses, did what we've been expecting and talking about all week. And these are tough defenses to really get rhythm against. It'll be interesting to see which team can establish that rhythm. South had it going a little bit before the interception, so let's see.
Prairie Ridge's potent offense held in check in the early going on their first drive anyway by the South defense. All right, Fowler's under center. Give us to Zevin Clark up the middle. He's brought down after a short gain, and he's lost the football. Prairie Ridge says they have it. No signal yet from the officials. And it looks like it is going to be Prairie Ridge football. Clark fumbled as he was hit low. And now the Crystal Lake South offense has turned the ball over twice on their first two possessions, giving the football to Prairie Ridge. 1st and 10 at the South 39.
And the big problem with this one is they give them great field position.
And growing confidence. Nick Nissen under center for Prairie Ridge. Give us to Greenwald, and he is swallowed up immediately. You can see Colton Nero there, number 47. He's fired up. Excellent penetration by Nero there. He has played like a man possessed in this early going.
I think he's been in on about every play so far, all 4 of them.
So 2nd and 10 now for Prairie Ridge at the 39 of South. 6 minutes, 50 seconds and counting in this first quarter.
How long before they go to the air?
Nissen under center, Greenwald the lone back. He rolls to, he's looking to throw now, Les. He's looking for number 4, that's Sean Valentine. Valentine makes the catch and into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Prairie Ridge! Sean Valentine with a 39-yard touchdown reception on a great throw from Nick Nissen. And Prairie Ridge has taken a 6-0 lead here with 6:36 to play in the first quarter as we await the extra point from Nick Margiata. Les, that was an excellently thrown football. Nissen put it up there. Extra point is no good. He missed it wide left. So 6-0 will be our score with 6:36 to play, first quarter.
Well, and if you're a PR fan, you don't necessarily like to see that missed extra point because a lot of times we see that come back to haunt somebody. But you're right. That pass was absolutely beautiful. I mean, he put the perfect amount of air under that ball.
And a nice post drop by Valentine. Nissen put it up where really only his 6'3" wide receiver could get it, and get it he did. Want to say thank you to our sponsor, Costa's, and listen closely, folks. If you come into Costa's in Algonquin this weekend, mention you heard this ad, you will get 20% off. That's no fooling. That's a good deal, 20% off. This weekend only. Stop in, grab yourself a dog or a gyro or something like that. It's good stuff, man. Get the extra tzatziki, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, 6:36 to play. Crystal Lake South has got to prove that they can hold on to the football and do something with it without turning it over. Kick is away, and it is at Brad Kasmer, number 2. Kasmer lets it roll out of bounds. That is going to give
nice field position.
South the football in good field position here.
South will take over 1st and 10.
So the drive will begin for South at their own 35-yard line. Last time they had the ball in this area, and Zevin Clark fumbled it on the Gators' first play from scrimmage. The Prairie Ridge fans pretty fired up after that touchdown. 40-yard touchdown completion from Nissen to Sean Valentine. Gets the Wolves on the board first here at Ken Broon Field at Crystal Lake South. Can the Gators answer? We'll see in a second. Austin Fowler under center. He's got Clark and McCulloch in the backfield. And the ball is on the turf again, folks. This time it was Kasmer who lost the handle but was able to recover after a loss of a couple yards. Make it 2nd and 12 at the Crystal Lake South 33.
Well, the only thing they've really had luck with, Eric, is throwing the ball, and even there they had the one pick, but the running game certainly has just, been non-existent.
Well, I think they've been fortunate to only be down 6-0. They've already made a couple of costly mistakes early against what's a pretty good football team in Prairie Ridge. All right, trying to get something going here. 2nd and 13, call it from the 32 of Crystal Lake South. Fowler under center. The pitch is to Casimir around the end. He's going to be brought down after a gain of about 7 yards. That was number 16, Sean Folliard, the safety for Prairie Ridge on the stop. 5 minutes, 35 seconds and counting here. 6-0 Prairie Ridge, first quarter. 3rd down and 6, and a big 3rd down, I'd say, for this Crystal Lake South offense.
Well, just to get a first down here would be monumental. They have to get a first down here. You got to take some of the momentum back.
They were able to move the football in the early going against Ridge, but then a turnover ended that drive, an interception. All right, Fowler under center. He's looking to pass. Walovich in the flat. He's not. Now he puts it up for him, and it's going to be caught. And they're going to say it was not a catch. No catch, folks. Bring up 4th down and 6. Sorry if I was not able to get that call for you immediately. That's on the far side of the field, and there's an awful lot of green over there.
It was hard to tell whether it was complete or not complete. So
Walovich on to punt now for the Gators. 5 minutes remaining in this first quarter. He's got the snap. Punt is away. It's a good one toward the corner here. It's going to roll and be down inside the 30 at about the 28-yard line of Prairie Ridge, where the Wolves will try to get another score.
Brought to you by Fox Valley Dental Associates of Crystal Lake, where they're offering 50% off of tooth whitening for all new patients through October. Call them today. They're one of our sponsors tonight, folks, so you got to help out our sponsors.
Thank you, Fox Valley Dental. All right, now that Crystal Lake South defensive line is going to try to keep a lid on this Wolves offense. There's Sean Valentine split out to the right of Neeson. He had the touchdown catch on the last drive. Neeson's going to keep the football. One man to beat. Walovich able to bring him down around end, but not before he's able to pick up about 4 or 5 yards.
Nick Neeson is the ball carrier.
Make it 2nd and about 4 yards to go for Prairie Ridge. Make it 5, actually.
Yeah, Nissen is very good that way. He's able to, we've seen now, he runs the option pretty well. He makes pretty good decisions under there, so he's tough to stop.
Hand up over the middle to Greenwald this time. Greenwald bulls ahead for a couple.
Connor Greenwald is the ball carrier.
Give him 3 yards on that one. Bring up 3rd and 2 for the Wolves. Their own 36-yard line.
3rd down, 3.
Neeson gives again to Greenwald, who loses his footing.
Looks like he
got to the sticks anyway.
Yeah. They're moving the chains.
It's definitely damp and chilly, but there's no rain right now at Ken Broon Field.
But walking across the field on the way over to the press box, it was very evident that this is definitely a wet field, at least on the surface. And we have had rain all week, folks, and I'm sure you know that because you've been out there in it.
Okay, Neeson under center again. He's got Greenwald and Getzelman in the backfield. Give is to It's Getzelman. He's around net, and he's got a lot of room to run. He's got a block. Walovich able to catch up with him, but not before he picks up about 32 yards. Make it 34 yards on that carry, and Prairie Ridge in business again here.
And, you know, we've talked a lot in our broadcasts about Walovich. Well, Getzelman is that type guy for Prairie Ridge. The people that aren't familiar with Prairie Ridge, Getzelman is the kind of guy who has that breakaway electric speed.
You saw it there. 3 minutes, 8 seconds and counting. First quarter, Prairie Ridge already leading 6-0, looking for more. Give his to Greenwald. He's brought down after a short gain off tackle.
Connor Greenwald is the ball carrier.
Truly a lot of weapons on this Wolves team to contend with for South's defense.
Bring up 2nd and 8 for the Wolves at the 25 of Crystal Lake South. Clock continues to run with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining first quarter. Nissen under center. He's got Greenwald and Getzelman in the backfield. He's going to keep it, run the option. He's going to carry it himself around end. He's brought down.
Nissen is the ball carrier.
Another short pickup there. That was number 34, Joe Coriacci, on the tackle.
Amron in the corner on the stop. Gain of 3.
Pickup of 3 yards on that play for Nissen. Brings up 3rd and 5 at the Crystal Lake South 22. A big third down play here. The defense needs a stop for Crystal Lake South. Fans here for Prairie Ridge below our press box. You can hear them getting into it. Pitch is to Greenwald. He's looking to throw. He's got a man in the end zone. Oh, in and out of the hands. That was number 3, John Borst.
Greenwald's pass intended for Borst. Incomplete.
Could not make the catch.
It did hit him in the hands, though.
It did.
He could have definitely come down with that. It wasn't a great throw, but it got there, and that's the main thing when you have a running back throwing the ball.
That's right. It was actually number 5, Nick Margiotta, could not hold on. I'm sorry about that.
Osmond on the coverage.
And now with 4th and 5, the Wolves are going to go for it, Lester. Nissen under center. That's Greenwald in the backfield. He's looking to pass. Looks to throw the short route, and it's over the head of the receiver, Sean Valentine. And the Wolves turn it over on downs. Crystal Lake South dodges a bullet there, Les, with 1:43 to play, first quarter.
That is exactly what they needed.
Want to say thanks to one of my favorite Crystal Lake restaurants, Honey Baked Ham. Honey Baked Ham in Crystal Lake offers sandwiches and box lunches for dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Try their new Honey Baked roast turkey with apple butter on a pretzel roll today. Anything with apples, I'm going to eat it in the fall, Les.
Well, not to mention ham.
Oh, yeah.
I love me some ham.
All right, minute 43 to play, first quarter. Austin Fowler under center. There's McCulloch and Clark in the backfield. The quick screen is caught for a short gain. That's number 26, Brandon LePack. He was hit quickly there. Number 20, Corey Barcroft got in on that tackle. Good coverage there by the Wolves on that play. Bring up 2nd and 7. The 25 of Crystal Lake South. Minute 18 to play now, first quarter.
You see how open the receiver was on that screen, and then you see how quickly the defender closed, and it gives you an idea of the team's speed.
This Prairie Ridge defense has been nothing if not effective.
They're giving up an average of 3.2 points a game.
You'll take that all day long, won't you? Flag on the play. Might have a delay here. Delay a game. Gators took a little bit too much time getting this one off, and it's going to cost them 5 yards. Bring up a 2nd and 12 from their own 20-yard line. 55.8 seconds to play, first quarter. Prairie Ridge leading at 6-0. Want to say thank you to a Crystal Lake institution in Country Donuts. Fast, fresh, clean, and friendly. That's Country Donuts in Crystal Lake. You can always tell where Country Donuts is on Route 14 because it's the place with the lights on. It's late at night, people hanging out, drinking coffee. It looks like the diner in that painting, you know?
Yeah. I've been going there for over 20 years. I love it.
Thanks, Country Donuts. All right, 55.8 to play. First quarter, 2nd and 2. Fowler under center. He's looking to pass. Throws a short one to McCulloch, who laterals to Walovich. But Walovich couldn't break the first tackle. He's going to pick up only about 3 yards. I'm sorry, that was Osmond on the reception who lateraled to Walovich.
Gain of about 4, third down, 8.
Well, that was an interesting idea. They're just a little bit close to the sideline to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I like the thinking though of a little trickery and using that team's, using that speed of Walovich, obviously.
Anything you can do to get the ball to Walovich is probably a good idea. Okay, Fowler under center. He's got McCulloch, the lone setback. He's back to pass. Throws it to Walovich. Looking for room around the end. He's not going to get any. Brought down immediately. That was number 43, Corey Peterson. Sniffed that out immediately for the Wolves. Or was it 48, folks? I think it was 48. I'm sorry. I'm trying to credit. It's Josh Prudica who made the stop. The punt is away. It's a line drive kick. It's taken by Getzelman. He's got some room in midfield. He cuts it to the outside. He's chased behind by Clark. He's going to get up to about the 30 before he's brought down. Excellent return right there by Getzelman. A lot of returners we've seen would let that go. Getzelman picked it up and made about a 20-yard pickup out of it.
Yeah, he really is amazing with the team speed.
That'll do it for the first quarter, which was brought to you, as every quarter of Friday Night Live has been so far this season, by DLS Internet Services. We want to thank DLS Internet Services, the official technology provider to Friday Night Live. Thank you, DLS, for getting us online from press boxes throughout McHenry County this season. Pretty impressive first quarter for the Prairie Ridge defense, Lester. They've taken the ball away a couple times. They've stood their ground against the South offense, and their offense was able to capitalize on it, but with a 40-yard touchdown pass from Nick Neeson to Sean Valentine, and that's the only score of this ball game.
Yes, and with the defense like the one Prairie Ridge has, or either of these, but seeing as how Prairie Ridge got that early score, you love the way that sets up the defense. And like I mentioned before, and this is a team that's giving up an average of a field goal a game. They haven't allowed a touchdown on offense since week 1. So, I mean, that gives you an idea.
They can score, too, incidentally.
And that we've seen.
Absolutely. They average 45 points a game on offense.
Yes.
All right, Nissen under center now to start this second quarter. Give is to Getzelman. He's going to pick up about 4 yards, get it down to the Crystal Lake South 26 before he's brought down. Looked like the Wolves were pulling lineman Tom Evans on that play. All right, Neeson under center now. There's a false start there, but it's not called. Instead, it's going to be a tackle for a loss. I think the center had the wrong snap count on that one. Neeson going to be stopped. They're going to call it a loss of 3 rather than, or maybe a loss of 2. I would think that would be an offside or a false start on the center, actually.
Well, but they got to call it, I guess,
yeah,
to make it count.
Okay, well, 3rd down and 9 to play. The Wolves have already burned the South defense once with the pass, and they've definitely got to be looking for it now. Sean Valentine, the 6'3 wide receiver, is split to the far side of the field. Neeson under center now. And Valentine left early. There's going to be a false start on him.
Well, they couldn't miss that one, even if they wanted to.
If I can call it from up here, it was rather blatant.
Yeah.
And that'll cost them 5 yards, make it 3rd and 14 now.
It was a little bit anxious, Maybe it was his number that was called. Yeah. That's kind of a giveaway sometimes when you see that happen. You think, probably was going to him.
Yeah, it looks like 3rd and 15 here at the 35. We had it.
Don't be surprised to see some type of screen or something here to Getzelman, too.
And he's looking again to throw deep. He's got Valentine. He's also got Getzelman. Getzelman cannot come up with it. Covered on the play by Brad Walovich, and good coverage that time.
Pass
Walovich all over Getzelman there along the far sideline as he cut out on a post route. Make it 4th and about 14 to go.
Well, I think you've got to punt it here. You certainly can't kick it from there. And
what's the point in trying to go for it?
Right.
So well, Coach Chris Schremp agrees with you, Les. He's got Nick Margiotta on to attempt to punt. Walovich back around his 5-yard line to receive. Margiotta's punt is away. And the Gators going to let it roll. It's going to be down at the 1-yard line by the Prairie Ridge punt coverage team. Well, that's one way to handle it when you've got an offense that's struggling, Les. Pin them back on their 1 and see if you can't put up a couple points on them.
I wanted to let our fans know it's National Karistan Month. It begins October 1st, offering the lowest prices of the season. Save up to $1,000 cash back. Come to Mayfair on Main Street in Crystal Lake for all your carpet and furniture needs.
I found out what a Karistan is today, folks. It's a big rug. It's a really, I even have one. I had no idea. All right, now 1st and 10. Crystal Lake South to the ball on their own 2-yard line. Got to pick up some yards here. And follow him. That might have been a broken play. He's going to be stopped after a short gain, keeping it himself.
Well, I believe Fowler actually went the wrong way on that play.
Yeah, give him a gain of 1.
Gain of 1, 2nd down and 9.
Could have been worse, I suppose, but not really the gain you're looking for.
Especially when you're backed up against your goal line, It could have been much worse. And let's just, for the record, say this would be the worst place to turn it over. So they really need to concentrate on holding on to that ball right here.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see Fowler rolling out on a naked bootleg and throwing the football on this play. But I could be wrong. 9 minutes, 45 seconds to play before halftime. Fowler under center. Throws the bubble screen. It's caught. No, that skipped in there.
Yep.
Okay. Incomplete.
Pass intended for Walovich.
That was intended for Walovich, but he tried to sell it, but that one skipped in there. 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8. Crystal Lake South on their own 4-yard line.
9:39, 9:35 to go here in the second quarter. And this is where play calling gets very, very complicated.
Well, you just saw there Brandon LePack, number 26, running in with the play call. He's going to be split out wide to our near side.
Single coverage out here.
Give is to McCulloch, who is stopped. Cold.
McCulloch is the ball carrier, number 7.
Give him about 2 on that play, maybe 1.
Brad
Sims, the big linebacker for Prairie Ridge, 6'1", 205 senior with the big stop.
This is a situation where I think you need to really use your directional kicking here because you do not want to give Getzelman a running start on this return.
Walovich about a yard from the end line. Kick is away, and it's not a real long one. Bounces to Getzelman, and he has got room, Les. Just what they didn't want. He's still in bounds. He's going to take it to the house. Touchdown, Prairie Ridge. Jordan Getzelman with another big return. This one a 40-yarder that finds pay dirt. And with 8:43 to play before halftime, Prairie Ridge has a 12-point lead, 12-0, awaiting this extra point.
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about, Eric.
Yeah, he didn't quite get the hang time on it, and they couldn't get anybody in front of him fast enough.
They kicked it right to him.
Greenwald on to kick this extra point. Kick is up, and it is good. So with 8:43 to play here in the second quarter, the score is now Prairie Ridge 13, Crystal Lake South nothing. Want to say thank you to our sponsor, 1776 Restaurant. 1776 is on Route 14 in Crystal Lake. They were voted the best restaurant in McHenry County for 9 straight years by the Northwest Herald Readers Poll. Actually, the owner there, Andy Andreski, has written a wine column for us for years. If you like to have if you're of course of age and you like to have a good glass of wine with your meal,
yes,
and you see Andy running around, ask him. He's never short on suggestions when it comes to wine.
And they often have specials there that you just don't see every day. You know, they'll have buffalo or something like. They'll have different types of
exotic
food, which is
meats.
really good.
Yes. Yeah.
Tremendous. Well, Prairie Ridge certainly, they've got all the momentum here, and South really needs to do something to shake that.
They need to put together a drive that ends in points, Lester. They've got time, 8:43 to play here before halftime.
I'm going to give you another word from our sponsor here. Come to Repo Graphics on Virginia Road in Crystal Lake. Mention you heard this ad and get 20% off on art supplies at the register. Not valid if they're already on sale.
That's a good deal. Kick is away now from Margiata. It bounces, hit Walovich in the shin. He's going to pick it up and do something with it. Gets up to about the 15-yard line of Crystal Lake South before he is brought down rudely. That was John Borst with a good stop for Prairie Ridge. And the Gators now have 85 yards separating them and the end zone. 8:36 before halftime. This game is not over by any stretch of the imagination, but South has got to get something going.
Well, and I think what that really means is that they have to be able to run the ball at least a little bit, and they have not been able to do that. The passing game will not work without having some of the run work first.
Okay, Fowler under center, and we're going to have a timeout. Crystal Lake South. I want to tell you about Extreme Wheels on Virginia Road in Crystal Lake. They're family owned and operated. You should book your awesome birthday party at Extreme Wheels by calling 815-356-7000. Stop in for your free family pass today through October 7th. And again, that number for Extreme Wheels in Crystal Lake, 815-356-7000. We say thank you, Extreme Wheels. All right, Les. We've got a little break in the action here. I'm looking for some scores. I don't have any quite yet, but if you are looking for scores from around the area, you can get them on our McHenry County Scores app. You can get that free on the Apple, the iTunes or the Apple App Store. If you have an iPhone, I have one. I'm feeling a bit attached to it these days. Oh, I got scores on there now. I'll tell you about them in a little bit.
First down.
1st and 10, Crystal Lake South on their own 15, 8:36 before halftime. Fowler under center. He drops back to pass. He's got time. 3 defenders there. And that ball is picked off. That ball is picked off by number 16. That's Sean Folliard. And really, the receiver, Dom Winicki, did not have much of a chance there. 3 Prairie Ridge defenders.
I think that was just a matter of which defender was going to pick it off, because any of the 3 of them could have had it. That's just an ill-advised pass.
Yep.
You have to use judgment, and that's just not a place to throw it.
And now we've got an ineligible man downfield penalty against South, but that, of course, will be declined.
And there was so much air under that ball that the defensive backs had a lot of time to adjust and make that play, and it really was an easy play for them.
Well, you've got to have a lot of arm strength to throw the football on the run from the 15 to the 50. I mean, you're talking about a 35-yard heave downfield without setting your feet. That's tough, especially for a high school level quarterback.
Especially when he's got 3 defenders
and thrown into triple coverage is often ill-advised. In fact, almost always. But
they're looking desperate, and that's not good.
Well, Prairie Ridge football. 3rd turnover of the game for Crystal Lake South. The pitch around end. That is number 28, Steve Bashore, with the football. Bashore with a good gain.
Steve Basher, the ball carrier.
Out to about the 45 of South.
Walovich on the stop.
Make it 2nd and 5 for the Wolves. Looking to extend their 13-0 lead here with 8 minutes to play before halftime. Nissen under center. He's got Greenwald and Getzelman. Basher in motion. Nissen's going to keep it around end, and he's going to be hit and brought down. That's Joe Coriacci making the initial contact.
Nick Nissen is the ball carrier.
Nissen picks up nothing. So make it 3rd and 5 now, 7:40 before halftime.
He pretty much ran into a wall right there.
You don't want to run into Joey Coriacci.
No,
he is a big-time defender, there's no doubt about it. Clock continues to run. Nissen checking the plays on his wrist. Give on the counter. That's Getzelman again. Getzelman is gone. Touchdown, Prairie Ridge. They're going nuts here. The Wolves fans are eating it up. 45-yard touchdown runs for Connor Getzelman. I'm sorry, Jordan Getzelman. And Prairie Ridge starting to run away with this football game, Lester.
Yeah, well, that was a fantastic play on the counter there, and the hole that they made right up the gut like that. Incredible blocking on that play.
The defense definitely bit on the counter action.
And the hole was so open.
Greenwald's extra point is good.
Once he saw daylight, it was like he was shot out of a slingshot, you know.
Second touchdown of this football game for Jordan Getzelman.
I think we're seeing a bit of why Prairie Ridge is ranked number 1 in Class 6A.
A lot of offensive weapons, and it starts with Getzelman for the Prairie Ridge Wolves tonight.
And a defense that consistently gives them the ball. Feeds it to them.
3 takeaways.
Just feeds them the ball. Feeds it. Feed me, Seymour.
You could not have scripted this first half much worse for the Crystal Lake South Gators so far. Want to tell you about Costa's, one of our sponsors this evening. Come into Costa's in Algonquin this weekend and check out this deal, folks. You mentioned you heard this ad on Friday Night Live. They'll give you 20% off. That's this weekend only. Go get yourself a gyro or a hot dog or something like that. Thank you to Costa's. All right, 7 minutes, 9 seconds to play. 20-0, Prairie Ridge leading. Margiotta's kick is away. It's going to be taken at about the 16-yard line by Kasmer. Kasmer going to get up to about the 14.
Really good hang time there by Margiotta. That was, he didn't kick it super deep, but he put a lot of air under that to get the defense down there. Well, it's kind of an understatement to say that South needs to get something going, and they really need to hold on to the ball.
They've tried it with the pass, and quarterback Austin Fowler has been intercepted twice.
I think the key is, though, with the pass, try not to go quite so deep down the field. That's a much harder throw to make. Look for your 10, 12-yard passes.
Fowler under center. Give is to Kasmer. Kasmer going to pick up about 7 yards.
That's what they need. That was a real nice run.
Call it 8 there. Bring up 2nd and 2.
Now, if they can get a few of those types of plays to work, it will help, keep everybody from cheating up onto the, they'll have to play the run more, and that'll help them get the passes in there a little
6 minutes, 30 seconds before half. They got to get some points on the scoreboard. All right, give there is to, I think that is Kasmer, but he was swallowed up awfully quickly. Going to be a short loss there by Kasmer. And now 3rd and 2. Their own 33-yard line for Crystal Lake South. That was Prudica on the tackle there, the almost immediate tackle for the Prairie Ridge Wolves defense.
Maybe the fullback here.
5 minutes 50 to play before half. Give to the fullback, and Kasmer is not going to get there. Not going to get there.
Well, the guy at the top, the ref, it looks a lot closer than the guy at the bottom.
That was Carl McCulloch picking up about a yard. Now they might need a measurement. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's awful close. At this point, you have to be realistic and think, though, you have to go. I mean, against this team, down 20, you have to go. What does it matter if you get beat by 20 or you get beat by 30? What does it really matter, you know?
I agree with you here. I mean, you know, this is your homecoming. You want to put on a good show for the fans. Maybe that was part of it. There was a little bit of nervousness on the part of some of the South players. They're about a yard short.
6 inches. It's going to be interesting here.
Well, they don't appear to be bringing the punt team on.
I think you also need to make it from a confidence standpoint, just to know you can get something.
Oh, they do have the punt team on.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
And now Crystal Lake South is going to call timeout and think it over. 5:31 to play before halftime. Let's tell them about Honey Baked Ham.
Honey Baked Ham. You got to stop by Honey Baked Ham in Crystal Lake for a sample today, and you will know where to shop for your next event. Honey Baked Ham. Spiral sliced, crunch glazed, and the world's best ham. Take it from us up in the booth. We've all had it, and this stuff is good.
I really like going there to get lunch because they always have some meat cut up. You can dip it into different stuff that they got.
And I will say this, go there now because it's always a good time for ham. But don't forget these people when it's time for holidays that are coming up too, because I'm telling you, you don't have to do the work. You can go in there and they'll set you up with the best food you can serve to your guests and your family, and that place has got some good grub.
Well, Les, if there's one thing I don't really like, it's work. So I'm all for it.
And your wife probably doesn't like it either.
Oh, no. But it's work just being married to me, Les, let me tell you. And now I got a timeout. Ridge. Prairie Ridge going to call a timeout now.
Timeout, the Wolves.
I'm not sure they had the personnel or the configuration that they wanted out there.
Maybe they were half expecting a punt. They got the timeouts to burn, I suppose.
Absolutely. You
4th
can't
and
take
1.
them with you. It'd be different if you could carry them into the second half. Then you might see these guys save them, but...
Let me tell you about Country Donuts, folks. Why pay coffee shop prices? Country Donuts' lattes rule. It's Country Donuts on Route 14 in Crystal Lake. It's a neighborhood place. It's been there forever. You can always see the lights on late at night. Love the Country Donuts. Thanks for sponsoring tonight's webcast from Crystal Lake South High School, Ken Brune Field, where the Gators have not seen things really go their way against this Prairie Ridge Wolves team in the first half. 5:31 to play. South in a big formation here. They got 2 men in the backfield. Give this to McCulloch. He's got the first down. Out across the 25 to about the 26, maybe the 27-yard line. And that was a big pickup there. I'm sorry, call it the 30. Call it the 36-yard line. But a big pickup right there for Crystal Lake South.
They pretty much had to have that right there. Just, if anything, to keep the ball away from PR for a while.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be more than that. I mean, Crystal Lake South, this is a team that's ranked number 4 in Class 7A. They can't be thinking about moral victories. You can't give up on this football game yet.
No.
You got 5 minutes before halftime, and you're down 20-0.
You got to get it.
Fowler with a good play fake. He's on the run, though. Puts it up. He's got Walovich. No, the pass is dropped at about the 36-yard line. Walovich could not hang on.
But I would have to say on that, Eric, that it was underthrown.
It was underthrown, but it was catchable, I thought, Lester. That was caught by coverage there by number 20, Corey Barcroft. But I think Walovich had a step on him.
It was catchable, but he was trying to work his way downfield, and he had to, put on the brakes. And this is a very wet field, and he went down. And
it's pretty damp tonight. There's no doubt about it. And of course, this field has been seen its share of football games already, and you can see the turf has been pretty well worn.
And the bands and this and that.
So that brings up 2nd and 10 from their own 36 for South, trailing 20-0 with 4:52 to play before halftime. Fowler under center. Gives it to... Whew. That was number 2, Brian Kasmer, swallowed up. Colin Corcoran of Prairie Ridge, Lester, just was in there. Casimir didn't have a chance on that play.
No, he absolutely buried him in the backfield. Not 4-yard loss.
Call it 3rd and 14, and now if you're Crystal Lake South, you probably have to go to the air again. Their running game has been almost non-existent here.
No, it really has been non-existent. I don't think they have over 25 yards.
Quick screen out to Walovich. He's going to try to do something with it. He can't get around the first man, though. That was a nice open field tackle by John Borst. Took Walovich out at the ankles. And a nice play by Borst. That's what you got to do when you're one of the smaller guys out there on the edge. And Borst at 5'9", 155 qualifies. You hit guys low and bring them down.
Hey, technique. That's it's the number one thing out there.
Now at 4th and 10.
At any level.
4th and 10, the Gators are going to punt. 3 minutes, 30 seconds and counting before halftime here.
And I would say once again, try not to kick it right to them.
Again, a liner. But this time it's going to go out of bounds at about the 25 of Prairie Ridge.
Well, that is what I would consider a nice punt right there.
You don't want Jordan Getzel to touch the football any longer.
No.
Every time he does, he's burning you. This has been our first opportunity to bring Prairie Ridge Wolves football to you here on Friday Night Live, and must say we're quite impressed so far, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, we knew this was a very good team, but obviously when you see them in person, you do start to see what the hype is about.
Neeson's going to keep the football but be hit as he tries to get around the end. That was number 9, Brendan Crystal at the stop. Nice tackle.
I will say, though, like you said before, I mean, this game's not over. I mean, it is a tough situation for South, but if they can just somehow get a turnover, they need something to turn that tide, turn that momentum, and then strange things can happen.
2 minutes, 50 seconds before halftime here. Well, I think the big thing here is Crystal Lake South has turned this football over 3 times in this first half.
Yeah.
How are you going to score when you do that?
Well, how are you going to play the number 1 team to win?
Give there is to Greenwald, who knifes through the interior of the South defensive line. Pickup of about 6 yards on that play. Maybe 7. So make it 3rd and 3 from the 32 of the Wolves. Wolves wearing their white away jerseys with the maroon pants.
And they're certainly not in a big hurry.
Why should they be?
Yeah.
Nick Neeson takes the snap, gives to Greenwald. He's going to get up to the first down Yorker and more. Bulling his way forward to the 40 of Prairie Ridge before he's brought down. Like Joey Coriaci was involved in that stop for Crystal Lake South. And this is a Prairie Ridge Wolves team that, as we mentioned, is tied for the number 1 spot in Class 6A in the Associated Press poll, and they have had their way in this first half. Neeson under center. He's looking to pass. He's going to throw it away, though, after he's hit hard.
Yeah, I don't think that was by choice.
No.
He got hit so hard right there.
It's number 67, Brandon Mitchell, was in there for Crystal Lake South.
And this defensive line for South has been fantastic all season.
They just haven't faced an offense this potent yet this year.
But they are still capable of making some big plays like we saw there.
A turnover would be huge for the
That's
Gators
what they
right
need.
now.
That is what they need.
Okay, Neeson under center. Valentine split out to the near side. Give is up the gut to number 22. That's Connor Greenwald. Give him a gain of about 4 on that play. 3rd down and 6. The 44-yard line of Prairie Ridge. 1 minute and 12 to go and counting here, first half. Wolves with a 20-0 lead. Pitch is to Getzelman. No. He's going to be brought down, though. Probably his shortest run in the pickup of the game. Only got a couple.
Well, unofficially, I've got him for 4 carries, 34, 3, 45, and 2.
My goodness.
And that's the kind of average this kid has.
And that's
all
not
year,
counting
too.
his 40-yard kick return for a touchdown either.
Right, which I believe is his 15th of the year, if you take all methods together.
When you say all area?
Yeah.
All right, Nick Margiotto waiting to punt. The Wolves are going to let it run down inside 30 seconds now before halftime. Walovich and Kasmer back to receive, and the Wolves are going to take the delay penalty.
No, they took the
timeout before the delay. 21.8 seconds before the half.
Coach Schremp was right down there in the ear of the official, making sure he knew to blow the whistle for him. But yeah, you said, Getzelman and first team. I think a lot of people, and especially a lot of PR fans, are probably thinking Getzelman MVP.
Yeah. Player of the year, perhaps.
But
absolutely.
Obviously, we have a lot of football left.
A lot of football, but this is a team that obviously a lot of people are thinking might have a legitimate chance at the Class 6A state title. Hey, want to say thanks to our sponsor, DLS Internet Services. DLS Internet Services is the official technology provider to Friday Night Live. Thank you, DLS, for getting us online from press boxes throughout McHenry County, including this great one here at Ken Brune Field. Great people here at Crystal Lake South. I wish I could do a little more to cheer them up. I mean, this game just isn't going the way they want, I know. Punt by Margiotto is away. It's going to be let alone by the return team. And down by Prairie Ridge at the 24, Crystal Lake South. 10.9 seconds to play.
Our broadcast is also brought to you tonight by Fox Valley Dental Associates of Crystal Lake, where they're offering 50% off of tooth whitening for all new patients through October. Call them today. And if you can't today, call them tomorrow for sure.
Okay, here we go. Last play of the half probably here. Austin Fowler throws the bubble screen out to Walovich. He's going to cut it up the middle and look for some running room before he's brought down. And that will do it for the first half here from Ken Brune Field in Crystal Lake, where so far the Prairie Ridge Wolves are spoiling homecoming for the Crystal Lake South Gators, leading 20-0 after a half of play. I'm Northwest Herald Sports Editor Eric Olson here with McHenryCountySports.com's Lester Johnson. We'll be back with you for the second half in a few minutes. Until then, we're going to take a little break. Don't go anywhere. A lot of football left.
We'd like to announce before the homecoming court, the Justin Schroeder Memorial Foundation will be holding an annual fundraiser benefit October 15th from 6 to 11 across the street in St. Elizabeth and St. Church on McHenry Avenue. We will be having raffles, silent auctions, live music, and more. Featuring fees $15. The foundation awards a scholarship to a graduating senior at South High School. Provides $10,000 over 4 years. We also award scholarships at Marquette to a qualified student from McHenry County High School. Justin was an alumni of South who died in 2003 at the age of 20. His football jersey was retired, and his number flies over all home games at Ken Brune Field. Come and honor Justin's memory, help the deserving students further their education. October 15th. And now the homecoming court. Roberto Albuquerque and Ashley Lovelace. Brad Walovich and Mackenzie Freemeyer. Ladies and gentlemen, the marching musicians at Crystal Lake South High School, led by senior John Batt and junior Katie Labasco. This time, the musicians and flags would like to once again welcome our conference cousins from the north, the Prairie Ridge Wolves, with the playing of their school song. At this time, we'd like to present our homecoming show with the marching musicians. This evening, we're going to play a Latin tune conducted by senior John Batt, Flight of the Condor. marching musicians. The horn soloist was Miss Michelle Curiel. The trumpet soloist, Mr. Johnny Morrissey and Evan Swanson. Next up, we'd like to present our percussion line and our color gun. This evening, they will perform a drill named Into the Abyss. CLS Percussion and Color Guard. The percussion is led by Senior Drum Captain Sean Santella, Senior Eric Pelt, and Junior Caitlin Heroes. The flags are captained by Sam Boulay and Nina DeMarco. And now a special treat for all of you at homecoming. We're going to include the junior varsity comms with the varsity comms. And the captains of this squad is Frankie Allen, Jenna Tomaszewski, Sarah Walker, Zoe Harding, and Jenna Sikorsky. At this time, Katie Labosco, junior drum major, will conduct the musicians in Hot, Hot, Hot. We wish, right? CLS, Varsity, and JV Com Squad. Ladies and gentlemen, your Pom Squads, your color guard, and your marching musicians of Crystal Lake South. At this time now, we would like to announce the 2011 Homecoming Court. First, Roberto Albuquerque and Ashley Lovelace. Brad Wallovich and Mackenzie Freemeyer. Austin Fowler and Jenny Wood. Derek Humpa and Christina Humpa. Your 2011 Homecoming King, Matt Benoit.
All right, folks. Northwest Herald Sports Editor Eric Olson here with McHenryCountySports.com's Lester Johnson. We're about 4 minutes and 30 seconds from the start of the second half here at Ken Brune Field in Crystal Lake, where the Prairie Ridge Wolves have really put on a show in the first half. They're up 20-0 on the Gators. They looked extremely impressive. Jordan Getzelman had a pair of touchdowns, one on a 40-yard punt return, and another on a run, on a counteraction play that really he just turned it on and blew past the rest of the defenders. Wolves are looking great today. The Gators had a little bit of success early and then started turning the football over. Quarterback Austin Fowler has 2 interceptions on the game already. Running back Zevin Clark fumbled, and that was recovered by Prairie Ridge and led to their first touchdown, a 40-yard strike from quarterback Nick Nissen to wide receiver Sean Valentine. So it really didn't go well for Crystal Lake South in the first half. Les, what do they have to change here in the second half to get back into this football game?
Well, it's easy to say what they need to do. The hard part is finding out a way to do it. But obviously what they need to do first and foremost is hold on to the ball. The 3 turnovers that they gave up, the ball right back to Prairie Ridge, that killed them probably more than anything. The other thing is special teams. You have to be cognizant of, who's out there in special teams. And when they kicked that ball right to Getzelman and he found a seam and he was just gone. And, if ideally offensively, if they could just establish somewhat of a running game, the Gators, I think, would find a little more success when they would go to pass as well. But that's all easier said than done when you're playing a team that has this kind of a defense that South has. Unofficially, I've got Crystal Lake South with running 24 offensive plays, gaining 62 total yards on offense. Now, only 19 of those 62 yards came on the ground. So, when you gain 19 yards in a half, you're in trouble. When you put that with 3 turnovers and a special teams touchdown allowed, that pretty much is why we're at 20-0 right now.
And how about the night that Jordan Getzelman is having from Prairie Ridge?
Well, Getzelman is definitely having an MVP type of a night, and every team would love to have a kid like this that can. Every team team would like to have a kid like this that can, change the game in one fell swoop like that. He's already unofficially got about 84 yards rushing, but the thing about that is that's only on 4 carries. So when you look at the average there, it's 21 yards a carry average, and that's not that far from what his average is during the year. I think it's somewhere around 14 or 15 yards, which is just absurd.
Gettleman averages 13.6 yards a carry coming in. He's second in the area with 589 yards rushing. This is a Wolves defense that is right about on pace with their average scoring a game. They average 45 points a game, folks, so I'm sure Crystal Lake South is planning to keep them under that. The question is, can they do it?
Yeah. Well, and when you literally think of a team that averages 45 points a game and averages only giving up 3 points on defense, 45-3. That's just amazing, is what it is.
That's going to win you a lot of football games.
That's just amazing what that is.
Want to also share some scores with you from other games around the area. Now, if you want to be able to keep up on all of these scores without having to check a website or anything like that, and you have an iPhone, you can get our free McHenry County Scores app. That's a free app. You can get through the App Store. I've got it on my phone here. At halftime, Harvard still looking like they're going to be undefeated at the end of this week. They're up 28-7 on North Boone at the half. Marion Central is sticking it to St. Ed. That's a 19-0 score in the second quarter. Jacobs and Huntley were tied at 7 in the second quarter. Woodstock North and Dundee Crown are zeros in the second quarter. At halftime in Hampshire, Johnsburg has a 14-6 lead on the Whippers. Cary Grove was up on McHenry by a score of 21-0. Of course, the score here is Prairie Ridge 20, Crystal Lake South 0 at halftime. Grays Lake North and Woodstock are tied at 7 in the second quarter. Also in the second quarter at Grays Lake Central, it's the Rams leading Crystal Lake Central 3-0. And Richmond Burton, the Rockets, are on top of Marengo. That's a 17-6 score at the half. So those are some of the scores from around the area. We've got a lot going on tonight, of course. It is Crystal Lake South's homecoming. I know that they're going to do everything they can to make a bit more of a game out of this one. But also got some sponsors we'd like to tell you about. How about Mayfair? National Caristan Month begins October 1st, and Mayfair is offering the lowest prices of the season. Now, if you don't know what a Caristan is, that's a big rug. It's like an area rug, I guess. You can save up to $1,000 cash back when you come to Mayfair on Main Street in Crystal Lake for all your carpet and furniture needs. Thanks, Mayfair, for sponsoring tonight's broadcast of Friday Night Live. Getting about ready to get with the opening kick here. And Prairie Ridge is going to get the football to start, Les. We'll look like we might have some rain tonight, but so far, so good. It's just a little bit damp and cold.
Yeah, and compared to the last, day and a half or so, the winds have really, really subsided, and it's really a pretty darn nice night for football, all things said. I'm sure the Gators are not quite feeling the same way, but, one thing to look for here in the second half is definitely what approach Prairie Ridge takes offensively. I'm kind of curious to see. Will they, play the way they've played so far, putting it up in the air and kind of mixing things in, or will they just take that lead and just really try to pound that clock down and not worry about what the score is? But at the same time, they're going to want to work on some stuff against a great defense because it's going to prepare them for their other games this year.
Prairie Ridge coming off a shutout victory against Crystal Lake Central last week. This is the toughest game they've faced in the Fox Valley Conference Valley Division, and definitely the most highly regarded opponent they've faced all season. They still have games to play against Jacobs. That'll be next week, and we will be at that game at the Jacobs Athletic Complex here on Friday Night Live at McHenryCountySports.com. So if you can't make it out next Friday to Jacobs and want to see what the Wolves do next, we will be there to bring you that football game. Crystal Lake South, meanwhile, is going to go to Dundee Crown, where a victory probably awaits them. The Chargers are hanging in there today against Woodstock North, but as of right now, they've lost 22 games in a row, I think. They're still in a process of rebuilding under a new coach.
Yeah, well, and that'll take some time because he's got a lot of things he wants to change over there. But South. I think South's big game left is what, Jacobs.
They've got Jacobs in week 8 here.
Yeah,
yes.
and realistically, Grays Lake Central probably won't be a pushover either, but I'm sure they'll be favored in that one. So we've got Prairie Ridge receiving the kickoff. Number 16, Sean Folliard with the return. Is going to make it out to the 29 or 30-yard line where Prairie Ridge will start 1st and 10 on their first possession of the second half. They lead 20-0, and South fans are anxious to have something to cheer about here tonight, folks.
Well, Folliard already has an interception on the evening, so he's having a pretty good night. All right, Neeson under center now for the Wolves. Getzelman in motion. He takes the pitch. He's around the right end. Still on his feet, but he's going to be brought down before he can pick up much more than maybe a yard. Good penetration there by the Crystal Lake South defense. Bring up 2nd down and about 9 yards.
Gain of 1 on the play. Colton Nero on the stop.
That was Colton Nero getting in there to make the tackle, one of the big defensive front 3. Nero's made a couple of tackles for loss so far in this football game. And Neeson under center. Little movement there. He's taking his time with the snap call. Give is to Greenwald up the middle. Greenwald going to pick up about 4 yards to the 35 of Prairie Ridge. Make it 3rd down and 5 to go for the Wolves. 10 minutes, 55 seconds and counting here. Third quarter, I'm sorry. Don't want to take you back in time, folks. And it would be big for the South defense to get a 3-and-out to start this second half, Lester. Nissen back to pass. He's looking for Valentin. No, he's got overthrows Jordan Getzelman there in the flat near the 1st down marker. But he just threw it over his head and out of his reach. And that's going to bring out 4th and 5, and the Wolves will send out their punt team.
You hit it on the head, Eric. Absolutely crucial right there that Crystal Lake South came up with that stop, forcing Prairie Ridge to punt that ball. Let's not forget, you've got Brad Walovich back there. We saw Getzelman, his counterpart, do it. It's something that Walovich is more than capable of, and frankly, South needs a big play somewhere along the line early here in the second half.
Margiata's punt is away. Walovich calling for a fair catch. He's going to make the catch at about the 39-yard line.
Wisely so there. There was tremendous hang time on that punt, and there were about 4 defenders staring him down.
Well, and you have to get in and make the tackle.
Number $340 at the Booster Building, 441-817. 441-817.
I did not win the 50-50 raffle, Lester.
So you're not buying later,
Well, I always figure at least I'm contributing. So I had the right first 3 numbers. But anyway, Austin Fowler under center now. 1st and 10 at the 40 of Crystal Lake South. The give is to Clark around left end. He's going to pick up a few before he is ridden out of bounds. Looks like they're giving him a gain of about, maybe a yard on that one. Well, maybe no yards. No gain, it looks like, where they're spotting it, or maybe a short yard.
I think it's interesting that South came out there with the 2 tight ends and the I formation look. Very interesting.
Wide.
Nobody out wide there.
Okay, Fowler on the under center. Ball on the far hash. Fakes the handoff. He's rolling to his right. Throws to Walovich at the 50. He makes the catch. He's still on his feet. Cuts it back up the sideline. He's going to get down to about the 40 of Prairie Ridge before he's brought down. Some nifty footwork there before he was finally caught up to by Brad Sims, number 56, and the rest of the Prairie Ridge Wolves defenders. But not before he picks up 20 yards in a Crystal Lake South 1st down with 9:43 to play here, 3rd quarter.
And that tight formation looks like it worked for him a little bit there. It kept the Wolves. I think you got to throw some different looks at the Wolves if you're able to do that. It might be one of the only things to mix them up a little bit.
Well, and if the Gators can put up some points here on their opening possession of the 3rd quarter, you got a different looking ball game. Yes,
absolutely.
All right, Fowler's under center now. Give is to Clark around left end. He's going to be ridden down from behind. That was the safety, number 16, Sean Folliard, knifing in there.
What a game he's having.
Yeah, and he's knocking down Clark, keeping him from what could have been probably a 6, 7, maybe 8-yard gain. Instead, he's going to pick up about 2 yards on the play.
Gain of 2, second down.
As you said, and as I mentioned earlier, Follier does have an interception on this football game already. He is having a pretty good night. Want to tell you thanks to 1776 Restaurant. 1776 on Route 14 in Crystal Lake offers a free Caesar salad to any student, good until October 14th. Dine in only. To get a free Caesar salad, just say, "Go Crystal Lake Teams." Fowler's pass, actually that, I think that should have been a lateral, to be honest with you, Lester, but they're calling that incomplete. Intended for number 26, Brandon LePack.
You know, as soon as you started to say that, I said that might have been, actually. I think I'm curious as to why it wasn't, but it must not have been behind enough. It must have been equal to, and not behind where the quarterback threw from. So
the refs say it's incomplete, and what they say goes.
That's what counts. Big third down here, Eric.
3rd and 8. Fowler under center. He's got McCulloch and Clark in the backfield. Walovich split to his right on the near hash. He's back to pass. He's rolling to his left. He's pursued, chased out of bounds. Chased out of the pocket by number 44. That's Colin Corcoran, the Wolves linebacker that they like to call the Freak.
Yeah, well, he was looking to definitely put a dent on Fowler, and Fowler luckily got away from him. But the bad part is it's 4th down.
Fowler was chased down by the Freak, flushed out of the pocket. I wish I had a nickname like that, man. That's pretty cool. Anyway, we got 4th down and about 7 to go. Long 7, maybe a short 8. 37-yard line of Crystal Lake South, and the Gators are going for it here to start this 3rd quarter. Fowler under center. He drops back to pass. The blitz is on. He puts it up deep for Walovich. Walovich makes the catch inside the 5, taken down about the 2-yard line of Prairie Ridge. 36-yard completion. Fowler to Walovich. And the Gators have the football at the 1-yard line of Prairie Ridge and looking to get back into this football game. 8:14 to play, 3rd quarter. Big strike, just what Crystal Lake South needed here, Lester.
Yeah. And we've said that some of the passes haven't been so great tonight, but that was a beautiful pass right there. He got the air under it that time and got it down the field and hit Walovich in stride.
And you know what? That was a nice piece of receiving by Walovich, too.
Yes, it was.
Over-the-shoulder catch. He had to track that ball in the most inconvenient of places. Now can the Gators put it in? 1st and goal on the 1 of Prairie Ridge. Fowler gives to McCulloch. He's got a hole off tackle. He is in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Crystal Lake South. With 7:50 to play here in this 3rd quarter, the Gators get on the board and are starting to claw their way back into this football game. Don't give up on Crystal Lake South yet, folks, because this game ain't over. We're awaiting the extra point now. Walovich usually kicks him, and it looks like he's got the block in his hand. They are going to kick it.
There'd be no reason not to at this point.
Denton Delgado, number 4, on to hold. Gators line starts out spread out and then comes in tight. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is good. So with 7:50 to play here in this 3rd quarter, the score is Prairie Ridge 20, Crystal Lake South 7. It's a 2-score football game now, folks.
Well, I'd like to tell you about one of our sponsors, DSL Internet Services. They are the official technology provider to Friday Night Live. Thank you, DLS, for getting us online from press boxes throughout the county. And let's also talk a little bit about Mayfair Carpets. National Karistan Month begins October 1st, offering the lowest price of the season. Save up to $1,000. Come to Mayfair on Main Street in Crystal Lake for all your carpet and furniture needs.
Well, we've reached another pivotal point in this football game, Les. 7:50 to play, 3rd quarter.
Well, one thing I think we can be very sure of now, and that is that Prairie Ridge will not be being conservative any longer. If they ever even would have thought of it before, they certainly won't now.
Well, Walovich on for the kick now. Kick is away. It's a line drive kick. taken by, now they run the reverse to Getzelman up the sideline. Walovich, the man to beat. He makes the tackle in the open field at the 35 of Prairie Ridge. Big play there by Walovich. Maybe saved a touchdown.
I just absolutely love seeing Walovich tackle Getzelman. I just think that is fantastic because those are two of the best playmakers in the area, bar none. And that is tremendous just to see those two going at each other.
Walovich did it just the way you practice it there. He squared him up, and Getzelman couldn't get past him. So now Prairie Ridge, 1st and 10, their own 35. 7 minutes 42 to play. Nissen gives to Getzelman again. Oh, that's Greenwald. I'm sorry. He's going to pick up about 4 yards. 4 yards out to about the 39-yard line of Prairie Ridge. That is a potent 1-2 punch of Greenwald and Getzelman for this Prairie Ridge offense, Les.
Absolutely, and I mean, you don't realize it so much this year because of the success Getzelman has had, but last season Greenwald had about 1,300 yards rushing, or 1,200 yards rushing.
Nissen under center. He's going to run the option. He's going to keep it himself. Get up across the 40 to about the 43-yard line before he's brought down. Looks like number 9, Brendan Crystal, was in on that tackle for Crystal Lake South. Bring up a 3rd down and about 3 to go at the 42-yard line. Give is inside to Greenwald. He's got a big hole. He's going to get across the 45 to about the 48-yard line. And the Wolves are on the move here with 6:35 remaining in the 3rd quarter, already leading this game 20-7.
And one of the things that makes Prairie Ridge's passing game so effective, like it has been this season, is that you see them run the ball and have the success they have. And then when they go up top, they're generally guys open out there.
Yep. Sean Valentine split out to the near end here. Give is up the middle to Greenwald again, who bulls forward to about midfield.
Greenwald takes the ball to midfield.
Pickup of 2 on that play. Maybe 3 yards.
Nick Amron on the tackle.
Nick Amron made the stop there for Crystal Lake South.
2nd down, 7.
2nd down, 7 yards to go. Inside of 6 minutes before the end of the 3rd quarter now. Prairie Ridge leading 20-7. Nissen under center.
You guys move it. They did it again.
Give is to... That's Greenwald. That's Getzelman again. And he is run down from behind by Brendan Crystal, but not before a big pickup. It'll be about
19 yards, 20 yards, yeah.
And boy, once he gets into space, Getzelman is tough to slow down. He is putting on a show tonight, Les. So another 1st down for Prairie Ridge. 5 minutes, 30 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter. Nissen under center. Gives it to Greenwald up the gut. Greenwald going to get down across the 20 to about the 19-yard line before he's brought down.
Flag on the field.
We do have a flag out at the far sideline. Still haven't seen the signal from the officials. Crystal Lake South motioning they're going to take it.
That's going to slow PR down a little bit. They have, if you watch real close,
illegal
it looks
procedure.
like some of the guys in their backfield have been kind of getting a slight jump.
They're yelling about it a little bit.
Yeah,
up here on
we're
the
hearing
Crystal Lake
about it.
South
And
side.
when you watch, you can see what they're yelling about,
Yeah.
quite frankly. I mean, I have seen it on a few plays.
Make it 1st and 15 now from the 36 of Crystal Lake South. Up, Nissen
Fumble.
fumbled the snap. Football is loose. And Crystal Lake South's defense is signaling that they have it. No signal yet from the officials.
It's a scrum down there, folks. Who came
But
up with
looks
it?
like
I still
it's
can't
staying
tell.
with Prairie Ridge.
Yeah, they haven't changed possession, so that was a little bit of a poor exchange there.
Well, really, if Crystal Lake South is going to climb into this football game and maybe really have a shot at winning it, they're going to have to get a turnover at some point.
It sure would help, especially while there's still enough time to do a lot of damage.
And Nissen under center. Greenwald, the lone setback. 2 wide receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Nissen rolls to his right. He's looking for...
Bam!
He's brought down. Brought down. That's number 83.
Nick Nissen, quarterback.
Steve Forner on the tackle for a loss. A big loss.
Of 10.
Nissen taken down for a 10-yard loss there with 4:25 and counting.
That's just what the doctor ordered here for South bands, I'll tell you that.
25.
They needed that one.
So call it 3rd and 22 now. Prairie Ridge. Nissen rolling to his left. He's pursued. He's still running. He puts it up in the air. Nobody home there. And that'll bring up a punting situation for the Wolves with 3:51 remaining here, third quarter.
It's a great stand right there by South's defense.
2 stops in a row now for the Gators.
And let's face it, it has been the defense that has carried this South team through the first 5 weeks of this season, and it looks like they're trying to do it for a 6th out here tonight.
Wanted to say thanks to our sponsor, Repro Graphics. It's been Repro Graphics' privilege to provide quality banners, signs, and art supplies to the community for over 2 decades. That's Repro Graphics on Virginia Road in Crystal Lake. Not a real good punt here by Margiata. It's going to be taken by Joey Coriacci at about the 30, and he's brought down at about the 36-yard line.
Very good field position, though, for South here.
That one looked like it hurt. That was big Tom Evans on that tackle there.
But I think if somebody can take it, it's probably Coriacci. He is pretty well built down there.
Well,
I don't know.
If you can dish it out, you're going to have to be able to take it at some
And I have
point.
a feeling he certainly can, definitely.
All right, now Crystal Lake South with the football on their own 37-yard line. 3 minutes, 40 seconds remaining, third quarter. Fowler under center. Dropping back, looking to pass. The blitz is on, and the ball is knocked down. That was Corey Peterson coming through unblocked on that play. That could have been a lot worse. Brian Kasmer coming into the football game now. Zevin Clark coming out. It's also Brandon Lepak, the wide receiver, coming in. And Will Osmond, number 3. Second down, 10. 3 minutes, 36 seconds remaining, third quarter. Prairie Ridge holding on to a 20-7 lead here. Crystal Lake South has scored the first touchdown of the third quarter and looking for more. Lepak split out wide to the near side here. Fowler dropping back to pass. Blindside rush is on. He's got a man at midfield. That is Brian Kasmer. Fowler took a shot there from his blind side. That was Corey Peterson again coming in. You got to block him or he's going to do damage.
Absolutely.
But a big completion there. And now Crystal Lake South in Prairie Ridge territory yet again. So a football game that was looking like it was definitely going one way. The table's starting to turn here, Lester. 1st and 10 on the 44-yard line of Prairie Ridge for Crystal Lake South. Fowler under center, back to pass. The blitz is on. He's trying to get away from it and throws it away. And Corey Peterson has applied some serious pressure for the Prairie Ridge Wolves in the last 3 plays. On one of them, he put a heck of a shot on Fowler from behind.
Yeah, Fowler really did take a shot there.
Fowler has taken some punishment this season. He also took that
he's a tough kid
that got Gage Hara ejected from their win against Crystal Lake South.
He's proven he's a pretty tough kid to be taking shots like that and getting up.
3 minutes, 4 seconds to play now. Second down and 10. Crystal Lake South at the 44 of Prairie Ridge. The pitch is to Walovich. He's got some room if he can get around the end. He does. Going to get across the 40 to about the 39-yard line. So that was a pretty well-run play there. They're going to mark him at the 38 of Prairie Ridge.
Well,
so this puts you in third in a very manageable situation here, third and about 3.
They're finding ways to run the ball and at least get positive yardage, and that is really helping when they decide to throw it, because it opens it up a little bit.
Crystal Lake South can score here. I think you've got a real good opportunity. You've got some real confidence back. I think Crystal Lake South is going to take a timeout here. A little bit too much time for that one to develop. Want to tell you about Extreme Wheels, one of our sponsors tonight. There's awesome family fun at Extreme Wheels on Virginia Road in Crystal Lake. Visit their website at www.extremewheelsfuncenter. That's XTREME wheelsfuncenter.com for more details. And stop in for your free family pass today through October 7th.
And Repo Graphics. It has been our privilege to provide quality banners, signs, and art supplies to the community for over 2 decades. Repo Graphics on Virginia Road in Crystal Lake. Repo Graphics.
They're playing I'm a Believer here at Ken Brune Field at Crystal Lake South High School. The Gators trail by 13 points, or 13 points. I can do math, folks, honest. With 2 minutes and 56 seconds to play in the third quarter. It's homecoming at Crystal Lake South. There's a big crowd on hand. I know these guys want to put on a good show, but so far, most of it's been dominated by Prairie Ridge.
You have to believe it before you can do it.
All right, Fowler back to pass. He throws the quick pass. Could not connect with Osman out there in the flat. Was thrown a bit high. And the defender came in at his ankles. And now they've got to go for it.
Well, they don't really have to at this point, but they're going to. I think it's still a call you could debate. We're not even in the fourth quarter yet. You miss it, you give them pretty good field position as opposed to pinning them back.
I would try to get the ball in the hands of Walovich to that wide side of the field and see if he can make something happen for you.
I still think this is a very debatable call, though. Let's see how it works out.
Wolves looking like they're going to bring some pressure.
That'll get it.
They jumped off sides, and they're going to give it to Crystal Lake South. Probably the biggest mistake of this football game so far by Prairie Ridge. The defense jumps off sides, and instead of having a big 4th down and 3 for the first down, the Gators are going to have a new set of downs at the 33-yard line of Prairie Ridge. They were definitely ready to bring the pressure. Corey Peterson, number 43, looked like he was going to come hard off the edge again, and he's planning to now. Fowler back, under pressure. Now he's got Osman outside at the 19 to the 18-yard line of Prairie Ridge. Will Osman able to make the catch, get his feet down in bounds. And now the Gators are seriously threatening, Les. First down and 10 at the 17-yard line. 2 minutes, 45 seconds remaining, third quarter at Ken Brune Field, where their crowd is starting to come to life. And like that monkey song that they were playing, maybe they're making believers out of them again. It's been a back-and-forth game. Prairie Ridge controlled most of the first half, but the Gators have had success in the early going of this second half. Fowler under center. The give is to McCulloch off tackle. He's going to get inside the 20, about the 14-yard line of Prairie Ridge.
That's a real nice gain on first down.
Absolutely. Looks like it's going to be about 2nd down and 7 to go. Okay. A very big possession here for South. You need to turn this into a touchdown at this point with 2:10 to play, third quarter. Fowler under center. Give is to McCulloch. He's not going to get anywhere. Again, number 43, Corey Peterson, is there off the edge and stuffs McCulloch. Been calling that number a lot on this possession. That's a loss of 3 yards for McCulloch. The Gators now right back where they started. Third down and about 10 yards to go.
Loss of 3, third down.
Probably going to put it up here, huh?
Yeah, well, I think you have to. It's hard to expect you're going to get 9 yards on the ground in one shot.
The Gators have Denton Delgado split out wide to the near side. Walovich split out wide to the far side. Looking for Delgado. The catch is made. Brought down by John Forrest. And he is not getting up right now so quickly. Forrest delivered a shot. Took Delgado down at about the 6-yard line. Delgado's up. And the Gators have a new set of downs. It's going to be 1st and goal to go at the 6-yard line of Prairie Ridge. A nice, quick throw by Fowler. And now Crystal Lake South is in business, folks. And if you were going to change the channel or go surf some other website, don't do it. We got a football game. 1:08 and counting here, 3rd quarter, Ken Broon Field, Crystal Lake. The Gators coming out of their huddle.
It's a little different looking Gators team in the second
Absolutely.
half.
They got a little confidence now. Fowler under center. McCulloch the lone setback. Give this to McCulloch up the middle across the 5 to about the 4-yard line.
Carl McCulloch is the ball carrier, number 7.
Pickup of 2. 2nd and goal from the 4 now. 40 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Probably time for about one more play. All right, Fowler's got the play now. Passing it on. Under center, we got 20 seconds to play in this 3rd quarter. Walovich in motion to the far side now. Gives to Kasmer, who stumbled on his way out of the backfield. Stop for no gain up the gut. You know, Crystal Lake South has been pretty creative with their play calling, but those 2 back-to-back runs up the gut didn't do a whole lot for them there. And now we're at the end of the 3rd quarter. Crystal Lake South threatening, but they've got 4 more big yards to pick up before they can make this a 1-score game. Prairie Ridge leading at 20-7. We'll be back here in a second after I tell you.
Got a few messages from sponsors here. First of all, we'd like to talk to you about Costas. Come into Costas in Algonquin this weekend. Mention you heard this ad on this broadcast and get 20% off this weekend only. So get in there this weekend. Get your 20% off. Also, Fox Valley Dental. This broadcast is brought to you by Fox Valley Dental Associates of Crystal Lake, where they're offering 50% off of tooth whitening for all new patients through October. Call them today or even tomorrow. Just give them a call.
Maybe I should try that. I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, I need a cleaning myself, so I should give them a call. But this has been a tale of 2 halves for sure tonight. I mean, you hear that a lot where that people say it looks like they changed jerseys at halftime, but it does kind of look like that a little bit here tonight because we've just seen a confident team come out here.
Here comes a huge play to open this 4th quarter. Fowler back to pass. He's running, he's flushed out of the pocket, and he's brought down for a loss of 6. That was Colin Corcoran, the linebacker they called the freak. Whew.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide on that one, Eric.
The Wolves brought the pressure, and the Gators could not stop it. So now you've got a decision to make. Does a field goal do you any good here? It makes it a 10-point football game.
Against this team, I just think it's tough to settle for that, but it's still points, so it'd be positive, but it just seems like it'd be tough.
They've got the block out. The line coming in.
You know, there is always fakes, too, you know.
Oh, Walovich is your kicker. But the snap is down. His kick is up. And the signal is good.
Kick is good.
So with 11:08 remaining in this football game, it is now a 20-10 Prairie Ridge lead here at Ken Broon Field at Crystal Lake South High School.
I give him about 27 yards on that. Probably pretty close.
And he split it. So now, you know, some teams, feeling emboldened by their recent success, might be tempted to do something crazy like kick it onside or...
Yeah, I just think it's a lot of time to get too risky right here. And look how well they've played. You don't want to just shoot yourself right away in the foot now. You got to, keep in mind that you've turned the tide. You've got the momentum. You still have the momentum. Just get a good kickoff and play your defense. This defense is what will help them win this game. Yes, the offense has to score, but it's the defense that's going to help them win this game.
When we saw Cary Grove open the football game with an onside kick at Jacobs last week, I was pretty impressed with that.
Something just tells me that PR has probably thought about that.
You think so? Oh, we'll see what happens here. Walovich's kick is a squibber. They don't want it in the hands of Getzelman any longer. It's taken by, I think that's Greenwald, the up man, up to about the 35 of Prairie Ridge, where the Wolves will take over, looking for their first points of the second half. They were blanked in the third quarter by this Gators defense, but the Gators have yet to force a turnover.
I think the one thing we haven't seen in the second half is Prairie Ridge try to throw the ball, successfully here. You'd almost think that, they've got to put it up a little bit too here now and at least get one big play somewhere in the mix here.
Nissen does have a passing touchdown in the evening, a 40-yard strike to Valentine. Ketzelman's going to take the football and be stopped cold by that defensive front of Crystal Lake South. Colton Nero got in there.
Jordan Getzelman, the ball carrier.
As did some of his buddies. I think I saw Josh Beveridge in there. A real team effort there, though. And it is 2nd and 10.
I think it's time to look for Margiotta, and that's their tight end that has good hands.
He's been quiet this evening. Was targeted once, couldn't make the catch. Valentine's open in the flat. He's got it at the 40. He's brought down short of the first down by a couple yards by Brad Walovich.
Nice little gain, though.
Yep.
Nice little gain because they haven't been running for much, so they had to mix it up a little bit.
And now they've got themselves in a very makeable 3rd down and 2 situation. At their own 37-yard line, 10 minutes to play now in this football game. The Wolves lead it 20-10. Nissen under center. Greenwald, the lone back. He's got the ball, and he is going to be stopped. Greenwald does not get there. Make it 4th down after no gain, maybe a short loss.
Nero, one of the guys in on that tackle once again.
Colton Nero has made some big plays for this defense. Looks like Greenwald lost a yard on that play.
On the stop.
Prairie Ridge doesn't look like they're going to punt it, though, do they?
Honestly, would be shocked if
here they come.
For it. Shocked.
Just playing some mind games.
But why? There would be no good reason to give them a short field like that. None.
No, not with the momentum that they've built up in this second half.
And talking about directional kicking, we've got to say the same thing about Walovich sitting back here now. Do not kick it to Walovich. It's that simple.
And Kazmer at about the 25. The snap goes
catch!
That wasn't
impressive.
Walovich calls for the fair catch after that at the 27-yard line. Maybe the 28.
Nick Margiotta there was the punter, and he literally saved a snap over his head right there. That ball was way up in the air, and he reached up and snagged it with one hand and kicked it away. That could turn out to be one of the plays of the game for PR. Seriously.
Absolutely.
If that ball goes over his head, we have got ourselves a whole different scenario right now. What an unbelievable play.
It's a good thing he's 6'3".
It's a good thing he's your tight end, right. It's a good thing he's the guy with the hands.
All right, Fowler under center now. The Gators, and that play, they bump into each other. And the football, the Wolves say they have it, and they do.
Oh, my.
4th turnover of the football game for Prairie Ridge. Fowler and Kazmer collide on a reverse attempt. The Wolves have it inside the Crystal Lake South 20-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot it at the 19-yard line of Crystal Lake South. This offense has done the Gators absolutely no favors this evening.
No, well, and a good team usually makes you pay for that. And with a short field, I think they're going to go for it pretty quick here.
Nissen under center. He's got Valentine split wide to his left. Give is to Greenwald. No, Nissen's got it. And he is running. He is smelling the end zone, and he will get there. Touchdown, Prairie Ridge. We're right above the Prairie Ridge fans here, and they are loving that. So it took 2 plays for this second half to be completely turned on its ear. After back-to-back stops by the Crystal Lake South defense, the Gators turn it over, and the Wolves capitalize on a 19-yard touchdown run by quarterback Nick Nissen. Connor Greenwald's kick is up. And good. Make it 27-10, Prairie Ridge. 8 minutes, 48 seconds remaining here in this second half. at Ken Broon Field in Crystal Lake South. The Gators have got to get to work and get to work fast if they're going to have a shot at this one.
Absolutely. Fourth turnover, what more do you really need to say?
Nick Nissen did an excellent job running that option. It was tough to tell. When the options run well, it's deceptive. It's hard to even call it accurately. And Nissen had guys biting on his fake up the gut to Greenwald. He hasn't carried a lot himself today and made some nice moves in the open field and didn't stop until he hit pay dirt.
You hit on it right there. They've been feeding Greenwald that ball. That's what the option does. They pump the fullback up the middle and pump him, and then before you know it, they don't give it to him, and that's what happens right there. He spun out of it, and nobody even was near him until he got to about the 4-yard line. So that they set that up. Some things don't always work right away, but they had been setting up a play like that for a long time tonight, and fourth turnover really, really made the difference in the game. And I go back to the play that the punter, Margiotta, made. I don't want to get crazy, but that was an amazing play because look what happened afterward.
That's McHenryCountySports.com's Lester Johnson. The man is a football analyst. I'm with you all the way, Les. Margiotta's kick. Taken by Walovich inside the 10. He's going to fake the reverse. And now he's going to run around and get brought down inside the 15.
Oh, there was one Crystal Lake South blocker and about 6 Prairie Ridge Wolves trying to make the tackle. And somehow those numbers don't add up.
I think Walovich and Casimir faked themselves out there. And
Walovich takes a kick.
Okay, well, 8 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this game here.
Now you have to open it up, Eric. Now there's just no reason, you have to open it up. It's that simple. Find Walovich. Find Delgado. Find Osman.
Split wide to the near side here. Fowler's going to throw it quick. Out to Osman, who fumbles the football. It's recovered by who else? Number 43, Corey Peterson. Peterson takes it inside the 5. Nope.
Well, folks, that's the 5th Crystal Lake South turnover tonight.
And I'll tell you what, folks, Corey Peterson has had a real good game for this Prairie Ridge Wolves team. He's applied a lot of pressure. He's made some good plays. And there he was just in the right place at the right time, recovering that fumble by wide receiver Will Osman, almost taking it to the house and getting his name into the box score. First and goal now at the 2-yard line of Crystal Lake South for the Wolves. Nissa gives the ball to Greenwald, and Greenwald is in for the touchdown. Those are the Prairie Ridge Wolves fans here, folks. The crowd has begun to thin out on the Crystal Lake side. I don't see anybody in maroon and white leaving, though. Well, this football game just turned on a dime, Lester.
Yeah, the momentum changed in this one so fast. It's really unbelievable.
Extra point is up and good for Connor Greenwald.
Well, I don't know any team that's really good enough to win with 5 turnovers, and I don't really care which team it is. You give the ball to the other team 5 times, and that pretty much writes the script for you right there.
Want to also take a second to thank some of our sponsors here. How about Honey Baked Ham? Stop by Honey Baked Ham in Crystal Lake for a sample today, and you will know where to shop for your next event. Honey Baked Ham, spiral sliced, crunch glaze, and the world's best ham. I love those samples they got there when I'm waiting to pick up my food. Also, want to say thanks to Country Donuts. Stop in. If you mention that you heard this ad, Country Donuts is going to give you a free donut. That's no lie. A free donut. Is there anything cooler than a free donut?
Free anything.
Yeah.
Call me Homer Simpson. I love me some free donuts.
Absolutely. Country Donuts, it's on Route 14 in Crystal Lake. If you don't know where it is, you're probably not from Crystal Lake. It's an institution. Stop by there. Tell them about this ad. Get your free donut.
And Eric, there have been so many South turnovers that I said 5. That was actually number 6. So I've even lost track of that.
3 in the first and 3 in the second half for South.
Yes.
The kickoff goes deep to Walovich. It goes into the end zone, and it's going to be a touchback. Also want to say thank you to DLS Internet Services, the official technology provider to Friday Night Live. Thank you, DLS, for getting us online from press boxes throughout McHenry County, including this one here at Ken Brune Field at Crystal Lake South High School. Great people here. We always enjoy doing a game from here. They treat us real well. So Crystal Lake South down by 24 points. It's a 34-10 Prairie Ridge lead. The Wolves have looked every bit a team that deserves their number one ranking in the IHSA Class 6A Associated Press poll. They're going to go to the air. Catch is made over the middle. And that is number 4, Denton Delgado. That's not an easy route to run, the over-the-middle route.
No.
Especially against a defense like this that you know is going to hit you. It's easy to hear footsteps. But Gators pick up the first down at the 31, their own 31. 8 minutes and 10 seconds and counting left in the ball game now. Gators are spreading it out now. They've got Kasmer and Osmond split out wide to the far side of the field. Fowler back to pass again. He's pressured. Hit as he throws, and it's incomplete.
He's down. Oh, he's getting up slowly, but he is getting up, so that's good.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I had a 6'1", 205-pound linebacker and Brad Sims hitting me, I'd probably take a little while to get up, too.
Yeah, Brad Sims is definitely a beast out there.
You don't want him hitting you.
No.
Been a pretty good showing for this Prairie Ridge defense. They were looking a little vulnerable in this third quarter.
South had them on their heels a little bit there in the third quarter, and then, of course, the turnover, which just hard to get past those turnovers. 3 in each half so far. And they gave up a special team score. So,
as Mike Singletary would say, can't win with them. The pitch is to Kasmer. He's going to pick up about 3 yards before he's brought down. Looked like that was number 2, Nathan Kirchbergen on the tackle.
Eric, for people that are enjoying seeing Prairie Ridge, we will see them again next week, right?
We absolutely will. And don't think I don't hear any of the comments or see any of the comments that go up on the board here. I've seen you Jacobs fans giving some sass out. Jacobs will get their shot at Prairie Ridge next week, and we will be there at Jacobs. All right, the blitz is on. Fowler puts it up. Nobody home, but there's a flag. There's a flag. The interception is made on the play. Walovich just walks right to the sideline.
There was some contact over there. You can't touch the guy beyond 5 yards, so I don't know. I think that's going to go on the ridge.
Catch was made by Nathan Kirchberg for the Wolves. Would be a pick, but it doesn't seem as though anybody expects it to stand, and it won't. It was Walovich just walked right off the field after that play, so So the Gators with the ball at midfield now. Coming up on 7 minutes to play in this football game. 34-10 is the score. Prairie Ridge comfortably ahead. Fowler under center. He has 2 wide receivers out to his right. He's looking for, looks like Lepak with the football. Lepak hit quickly by number 3, John Borst. Maybe a gain of a yard on that play.
Well, and obviously now, with it being 34-10, time is really your biggest enemy now. 6:30 and counting left, and that will go awfully fast now.
Well, look, this is a good Crystal Lake South football team. The ball game is not over. They need to keep going and show that they can do some more things. Osmond under center. Back to pass. Prairie Ridge on the blitz. He throws it, and it's caught by Osmond. He's up the sideline, down inside the 25 before he's brought down. Brought down from behind by number 43, Corey Peterson.
Nice pass and catch right there. Beautiful route, beautiful pass.
Give him a gain of 27 on that
Now,
play.
isn't Osman, that's the coach's son, right, Eric?
Yes, it is.
And now, is that true that he didn't even play last year?
That is true, actually. He's a senior this year. He didn't play last year. He wanted to play his senior season with his dad as coach, so he came out for the team. It's Will Osman, number 3. He's the son of Coach Chuck Osman, who took over last year.
That is very cool.
Well, Fowler under center now. Fakes the give to McCulloch. He's got blindside pressure. Oh, and he had Denton Delgado wide open, but he was throwing across his body.
Yeah, he had to get rid of it because he had defender bearing down on him in a hurry.
I think that was number 88, Colin Leverins, was coming for him.
I believe you're right. Yeah, and he was coming hard. He did get a hit in on him, too. It was very close to being late. It was really close there.
It is not easy to stop and throw across your body like that.
Fowler has definitely taken his share of hits tonight. He's taken some punishment.
Fowler, the 6-foot, 175-pound senior under center. He drops back to pass. He's looking for Walovich. He lofts it up for him. Walovich comes back to the football. He's got it inside the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown. Touchdown, Crystal Lake South. 5 minutes, 32 seconds to play. The Gators get it into the end zone. So that makes it 34-16 Prairie Ridge with 5 minutes and 32 seconds to play here. Might be too little too late, but it is something, Les.
Well, it's, if anything, though, it is confidence, as you continue through the season. I mean, like you were saying, you want to run some plays and see what you can get done. And it's going to be hard to make up the points, but how do you know if you don't, start by getting it into the end zone? So that's what they needed to do. It was a very nice play. I mean, Walovich just kind of let the defender fall down and made a quick little move. And,
the Gators are going to go for 2 here.
He knows how to catch it.
Fowler on a play that never had a chance because it was disrupted immediately by Colin Corcoran, the linebacker they call the Freak, and you saw why right there.
The Freak is having one heck of a game tonight. And he's one-on-one, he's been tough to block. He really has. So now might be the time for your onside kick. I don't know, but you need 3 scores.
Oh, yeah,
you need
absolutely.
3 scores, so it might be about time.
Northwest Herald Sports Editor Eric Olson here with McHenryCountySports.com's Lester Johnson, the man who, it appears, had the correct prediction on tonight's outcome. Maybe not the right score, though, but you don't like doing those scores.
I don't like doing those scores. That's not easy to do, but I'll tell you this much. I think I would have been a heck of a lot closer if you take away the 6 turnovers.
Yeah,
so,
that had a lot to do with
look it. I had South at 14, they've got 16. I had PR at 21. Well, they've got 34, but they also got
6 turnovers
and a special teams touchdown. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
All right, let's see what the Gators do here. Walovich kicking. It is onside, and it is recovered, and it looks like it's going to go for a big gain. Hey, guess who it is, Les? Guess who? That's number 15, I believe. 16, I'm sorry. Sean Folliard.
Another kid who's had an awfully good game tonight.
Woo.
My goodness. Second special teams touchdown of the night for Prairie Ridge.
Folliard with an interception. And now a kick return for a touchdown. And that's something that is a real danger. Especially at this level, you do see that fairly often. An onside kick goes for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Everyone is pursuing the football as hard as they can.
There's no defense.
And if you look at the middle of that field, it's really mud at this point in the season. You're not going to get the same skip, especially when it's wet like it is tonight. So Greenwald on to attempt the extra point. And he gets it through there. It should be good. It is. Well, the Wolves are actually getting pretty close to their 45 points a game scoring average now, Lester.
Yeah, they're right there. Well, they have, given up a little more than they normally do, but this is, at one point, toward the end of the third quarter, we had ourselves a ball game here, and South had really charged back into this thing, and they had all the momentum. And, I go back to the punt that they could have went over the punter's head, Margiotta's head. He put a hand on it, he got it downfield. The next play or 2 plays later, they turned it over, and that's really changed everything, and it's just turned into now a Prairie Ridge blowout.
Well, I don't think anyone who has watched this football game would dispute that the Gators have been undone by their own mistakes.
Yes.
At crucial times.
It'd be a much different score right now if we didn't have 6 turnovers and 2 special teams touchdowns in the book, that's for sure.
Some of them unforced, And
the Prairie Ridge cheerleaders still doing push-ups, by the way, because they have so many to do.
They're going to be pretty buff at the end of this season.
Yeah,
if you're averaging 45 points a game, somewhere like, I'm done.
I'm thinking, yes. What a workout.
So the Wolves, your number 1 team in Class 6A, have shown why tonight. They're up 41-16, 5:23 to play in this ball game. Kick is away, taken by Kasmer in the end zone for a touchback.
Well, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but I think it's safe to say that this Prairie Ridge team is going to have something to say about who makes it downstate. If it's not them, they're certainly going to have something to say about it. This is a team that should be playing pretty late into the postseason. Now, one thing South fans may be able to look forward to, depending on how things shake out, if South were to get bumped down to 6A, which does happen, they could see this team again.
Oh, they don't want to see this team again.
But they could, and if they did, they could set it right and beat them. So you never know.
Well, this will be the second consecutive win at Ken Brune Field for the Wolves. The last time they played here was in the quarterfinals, and that was a game that the Wolves ran away with there, knocking South out of the postseason. They took that game 37-10. It was the only loss of the season for Crystal Lake South. Prairie Ridge, of course, went on to the semis where they had a few critical fumbles that ended their season in a loss to Rockford Boylan, which went on to win the state title.
Yeah.
I thought the PR really could have won that game and gone all the way
I
to
know
state.
they could have. I was standing on the sideline, and they sure could have. But they didn't.
This is a new year, though, Les, and this team looks even better.
Something tells me they wouldn't mind seeing that team again this year.
Mm-hmm. Well, they just might.
Maybe proving a point down the road.
Let me give you some scores from around the area here, folks. Of course, I'm getting these off of my McHenry County Scores app. If you have an iPhone and would like to stay on top of the action, you can get it. It's free in the Apple App Store. In the fourth quarter, Harvard is beaten up on North Boone. That's a 35-7 score at Harvard. Marion Central has taken it to St. Ed. That's a 47-3 game in the fourth quarter. Jacobs is up on Huntley 27-7 at half. Woodstock North and D.C. tied at 0, last we heard. Johnsburg up on Hampshire 14-6 at the half. Cary Grove 42, McHenry 6 out there at Cary Grove. Prairie Ridge, of course, leading this game 41-16 with 3 minutes and 56 seconds before the game ends. At Woodstock, Grays Lake North has taken a 21-14 lead over the Blue Streaks. Grays Lake Central leading Crystal Lake Central 10-0 at the half, and Richmond Burton has begun to run away with it. They're leading Marengo now 31-6. Of course, if you want to know all those scores without having to listen to me read them to you, get our McHenry County Scores app.
And just a quick note, that Grays Lake Central, Crystal Lake Central football game is probably going to go a long way toward deciding the Fox.
Oh, gets the pass away, and it is caught there. Should be a new set of downs for South. Catch made by Dom Winicki. It's his first grab of the ball game. Up to the 45 of Crystal Lake South. Unless we will be featuring Prairie Ridge again next week when they travel to Jacobs. After this week, it looks like Jacobs and Prairie Ridge will be the only remaining unbeatens in the FBC Valley. And after what I've seen tonight, I would definitely say that the Prairie Ridge Wolves are the favorites to win that game as well.
Yeah, but I think one thing is for sure, and that is that Jacobs has a better passing game. So I think from that standpoint, maybe they can at least put up some points.
That's Josh Rudica bringing down Fowler for a loss on a blitz. Prairie Ridge has been getting more and more aggressive, sending linebackers on the blitz here in this second half, it seems as though.
Yeah, they're definitely sending a lot of blitzes.
Because they know that South is going to be passing the football here.
Well, you give any quarterback a lot of time to throw, and they're generally going to make you pay for it.
So second down, 13 to go. Crystal Lake South at its own 42-yard line with 2 minutes, 36 seconds remaining.
South bleachers looking pretty empty at this point.
Yep. The taillights are already backing up, trying to get out of the parking lot here at Crystal Lake South. We had a great turnout, and this was a pretty well-played game. Crystal Lake South made just a few too many mistakes, but I'm pretty sure that this is a South team that can regroup.
They will. And they will. I mean, this is a very, very good team. I think you have to take into account that, Prairie Ridge is just exceptional. But at the same time, South is no slouch, and they're going to get plenty more wins this season.
And the fumble. Snap is fumbled.
Tucker falls on the ball.
Got a new quarterback in for Crystal Lake South. That'd be number 11, Blaine Tucker, recovering his own fumble.
Well, I think after tonight's matchup, we have the next best possible matchup next week, which is Jacobs and PR. So we're going to find out a lot next week about just how much progress Jacobs has made as a team.
That defense is going to be challenged. Against this Prairie Ridge Wolves offense. I mean,
I think though that I feel safe in saying that they do have a better offense. Jacobs does have a better offense than Crystal Lake South, and I think that's obvious. And if you've watched enough of these games, they will, I think, be a bigger threat offensively. And I do not think that they will have this kind of mistakes, but you never know. But 6 is almost, you can't fathom turning it over 6 times.
Well, this is also a Wolves offense that has put up 41 points on what I think was the consensus choice for best defense in the area in Crystal Lake South.
Well, yeah,
they have the best defensive front.
Absolutely.
We've seen them shut teams down, and these Wolves, when they did get the football, admittedly they got the football as a result of turnovers 6 times.
Yeah.
They capitalized.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. They'll definitely make you pay. But South did do a pretty good job shutting down their running game in the second half. Not in the first, for sure, but in the second half they did a pretty good job with it. It'll be interesting to see how Jacobs, has a pretty darn good defense too, and how they can fare against these guys. So we got a heck of a matchup next week too.
All right, Blaine Tucker under center now for the Gators, and he fumbles the snap again. Snap fumbled again. That's back-to-back snaps fumbled. Maybe, is there another guy? Okay, that's another loss of 5. They get 4th and 20 now.
They're going the wrong way.
Yeah. But you can't gain yards if you can't successfully transfer the ball from the center to the quarterback. The snap is a success. Pass is up and incomplete. That'll turn it over on downs and ought to do it for this football game. Want to say thank you to all of our sponsors: Mayfair Carpet, 1776 Restaurant, Repro Graphics, Extreme Wheels, Costa's in Algonquin. Remember, if you mention you heard their ad, they'll give you 20% off this weekend. Fox Valley Dental, where they're offering 50% off of tooth whitening for all new patients. Honey Baked Ham, where they've always got great free samples in their waiting room. Country Donuts, if you mention that you heard Country Donuts ad, you come in there this weekend, they'll give you a free donut. Also, thank you to DLS Internet Services, the official technology provider to Friday Night Live. Thank you, DLS, for getting us online from press boxes throughout McHenry County. I think I got through all the super offers out there.
A lot of discounts this
Yeah.
time. Thanks to our sponsors for
Yeah.
giving people some deals
I'm
out
going to
there.
get a free donut.
Absolutely, and I think I might have to hit up Costas and Honey Baked Ham, too.
Yeah. Then I'm going to have to hit the treadmill.
Yes.
Well, it's been quite the football game. The Prairie Ridge Wolves really, I think, made a statement here.
Yeah.
You want to see pick out a team that's a team to beat in the area. They now reside just off of Walk-Up Avenue.
Well, and you know that South can't be happy with the way things went tonight.
And that's the end of today's game from Ken Brune Field at Crystal Lake South. The Prairie Ridge Wolves maintain their undefeated status. They go to 6-0 on the season, 3-0 in the Fox Valley Conference Valley Division with a 41-16 win against the Crystal Lake South Gators. I want to say thank you very much to the folks here at Crystal Lake South High School, to DLS Internet Services, the official technology provider to Friday Night Live, and to all of our sponsors, Mayfair 1776, Extreme Wheels, Costa, Fox Valley Dental, and Country Donuts. And also thanks to the folks that made this happen. Our producer is Adam Nicola. Our camera operator is Eric Ward. Our commentary, of course, is provided by McHenryCountySports.com's own Lester Johnson. And I'm Northwest Herald Sports Editor Eric Olson. Wishing all of you a great weekend. We'll be back with you next Friday from Jacobs High School, where these same undefeated Prairie Ridge Wolves will be taking on the Jacobs Golden Eagles in a battle for FVC Valley supremacy. Until then, don't you go changing. We'll see you later, people.
We back here? I think week 8, I think. I want to say week 8. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That'll be good. You guys can
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You can't turn the ball over 6 times. Those guys are too good. Those guys are too good to turn over 3-4 times.
I mean, one turnover would have been a lot.
Those guys that block for him, they're huge. They like our line last year. They can throw more if they have. They are our exact line from last year. The one kid's a sophomore. Yeah, to be honest, no, I wouldn't be. I don't think we're trying to find any Hey, there's like a hot dog and a hamburger.
Thanks, guys.
I'll take that hot dog.